On March 23, 2001, Vince McMahon purchased his longtime rival WCW for $3 million. Vince announced the purchase on the March 26 edition of Raw, which was the last WCW Nitro episode. It's well known that the WWF, now known as WWE, intended to keep WCW running. Even polls were put up on WWF.com, with the hope that the network TNN would pick it up. The plan fell through and networks refused to take it on, and thus the invasion storyline continued well throughout the year. What if a network picked up WCW programming? What would have happened? In our story, Vince McMahon makes a lucrative deal with Fox, which was once interested in 2000, to pick up WCW on Saturday night. And so, rather than have a full-scale invasion storyline, WCW makes a return on TV in May, and the WWE hype it up each week after WrestleMania 17. Shane McMahon becomes the legit head of WCW and brings out Booker T as the WCW World Heavyweight Champion in early April on Raw, promoting him as a major WCW superstar along with Diamond Dallas Page. A few WCW stars get match spots on Raw and SmackDown for exposure. Some stars like Buff Bagwell are allowed to stay, while others like Jeff Jarrett were fired. To add more to the roster, Paul Heyman and some ECW stars joined WCW programming, resulting in the total purchase of ECW by the WWE in June. Crossovers are bound to happen between the WWE and WCW to keep WCW interesting. On the booking team we would have Paul Heyman, Ed Koskey, and Arn Anderson. The roster is the same as those who joined WWE at the time, and with current ECW stars joining WCW. The current WCW champions are Booker T, World, The Natural Born Thrillers, Tag, and Shane Helms, Cruiser. The pilot one-hour episode of WCW Saturday Night Live on Fox debuts on May 19, 2001. On commentary is Scott Hudson and Paul Heyman. Shane McMahon opens the show and he hires Stacy Keibler to be his executive assistant. He announces a U.S. title tournament, which will be taking place each week till a new champion is crowned at a PPV. The next show, Ric Flair returns to WCW to host a battle royal and gets in a feud with Buff Bagwell, who claims to be the real Nature Boy. The third show, Scott Steiner returns and challenges for the world title and wins it a week later. Booker T, who lost the title, gets in a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin on WWE TV, wishing to take the WWE title over to WCW. Because WCW is its own brand, Sting finally returns to challenge for the title. The Great American Bash 2001 is hosted on July 17, 2001. Booker T faces Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Austin retaining the WWE title. A 10 women's battle royal takes place and Chyna makes a surprise appearance to win the vacant WCW Women's Championship. She officially joins WCW. Rob Van Dam defeats DDP to win the U.S. title in the finals. Scott Steiner retains the title via DQ against Sting after the ECW interfere and become their own faction in the WCW, with Sabu and Heyman leading it. A WCW versus ECW feud begins. Sting becomes a free agent, and both Vince and Shane want him to sign with either or company. Eventually, Sting stays true to WCW in order to lead a war against ECW. Kevin Nash joins WCW and partners up with DDP to bring back the Insiders. Bash at the Beach is a special WCW vs. ECW PPV on August 11, 2001. Steiner defeats Sabu to retain the title, while a War Games match has Team WCW winning, led by Sting, over Team ECW led by Tommy Dreamer. The following Saturday night sees a bump in the ratings when Sting defeats Steiner to become the new WCW champion. The following week, The Undertaker shows up after quitting the WWE on Raw, and challenges Sting for the belt as a free agent. Sting defeats The Undertaker at the next PPV, Fall Brawl, as Taker re-signs with WWE thereafter and decides to unite the WWE against WCW. This leads to the Survivor Series for a big showdown between both promotions where WWE defeats WCW. Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan shockingly return that night to unite with Kevin Nash to screw WCW. Over the next few weeks, the NWO play both sides for the next several weeks. WCW becomes more popular and eventually a new 3-year deal with Fox for WCW Saturday Night is signed as a 2-hour show. WCW remains a brand for years to come, and although it's not as big as it used to be, it would be profitable. What did you think of this scenario? Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.